My girlfriend left her diary open on the kitchen counter while showering. I saw the Joseph Project Phase 2. He still thinks I love him, LOL. I photographed every page and called the police. Now she's working 3 jobs to pay back what she stole while living in her mom's basement. I am 28, male, met Jessica 2 years ago at a friend's housewarming. She was bartending on the side, gorgeous, funny, had this way of making you feel like the only person in the room. We hit it off immediately. Started dating within a week. Looking back, the speed should have been my first warning. But when someone that beautiful is into you, you don't ask questions. She moved in after 6 months, said her roommate was toxic and she couldn't afford a place alone. I had a decent 2-bedroom, figured why not. She insisted on paying half the rent. I actually thought that was a green flag. Independent woman, not looking for a free ride. Except her rent payments were sporadic. Always had an excuse. Tips were bad, car needed repairs, mom needed help with medical bills, and stupid me, I covered for her every time. Just pay me back when you can, babe. She never did. But that wasn't the real scam. See, Jessica was smart. She didn't just want my money, she wanted access to it. Started small, added her to my Costco membership, then my Netflix, then she needed my Amazon Prime for emergencies. Each time, she'd give me cash for her share. Until she didn't. Then came the joint checking account. For household expenses, she said. It'll be easier to track who owes what. Made sense at the time. I put in $500 a month for groceries and bills. She was supposed to match it. Guess how often that happened? But here's where she was clever. She never emptied the account. Always left just enough that I wouldn't notice. $20 here, $50 there. Small amounts that could be explained away. Oh, I grabbed groceries on the way home. Paid the internet bill early. I'm not an idiot. I noticed the money disappearing. But every time I brought it up, she'd cry. Tell me how hard she was trying. Show me job applications she'd filled out. Promise things would get better once she got that promotion at the bar. The promotion never came. 8 months ago, she discovered my investment account. Not the login, just that it existed. Saw a statement I'd left on my desk. $47,000 saved over 6 years. My house down payment fund. Her whole demeanor changed. Suddenly, she was very interested in my financial future. Started talking about our plans, how we should invest smarter, how keeping money in a boring index fund was wasting potential. Then came the business proposal. Her friend Sarah was starting a boutique. Just needed investors, guaranteed returns, all the buzzwords. Jessica had spreadsheets, projections, even a business plan that looked legit. She'd already invested $5,000 of her savings and wanted us to be partners in this. I said no. That's when the real manipulation started. I was unsupportive. Didn't believe in her. Didn't see a future together. She'd sleep on the couch, give me the silent treatment, then apologize with tears and promises to drop it. Then she'd bring it up again a week later. Meanwhile, money kept disappearing, not just from the joint account now, cash from my wallet. A credit card I kept for emergencies suddenly had a $1,200 balance. When I confronted her, she admitted she'd used it but only for necessities and would pay it back. She didn't. I changed my passwords, moved my investment account to a different bank, put a freeze on my credit, told her we needed to talk about boundaries. She agreed, apologized. We had makeup sex. I thought we'd turned a corner. Then came last Tuesday. She was showering, left her journal on the kitchen counter, this leather-bound thing she was always writing in. It was open. I wasn't snooping, just moving it so I could make coffee. That's when I saw the heading, written in neat cursive, The Joseph Project, Phase 2. My hands literally shook. I read the line below it. Systematic drain of accounts proceeding on schedule. He still thinks I love him, LOL. I flipped back through pages. It was all there. Every manipulation, every lie, every dollar stolen. A meticulously documented strategy for destroying me financially. But the worst part? She was documenting it like an achievement, rating her performance. Cried about mom's medical bills, 10/10, got $300. Investment scheme hit a wall, need new angle. He changed passwords, time to deploy the victim act. And this gem. He still thinks I'm bartending, haven't worked in 3 months. His money is my job now. I kept flipping, a sick feeling in my gut. Found a page titled Prospects. Underneath was a list of names. Thomas, Hinge, Potential but low income. Charles, work friend. Good salary, but too cautious. She didn't just have backup plans, she had a pipeline of future victims. I stood there, coffee forgotten, reading months of sociopathic planning. Details about my finances I didn't even remember telling her. Then I heard the shower turn off. I grabbed my phone and photographed every page. Every single one. Hands shaking so bad half the pictures were blurry. Had to retake them. She was singing in the bathroom. Some love song. The irony wasn't lost on me. Put the journal back exactly where I found it. Made coffee like nothing happened. She came out in my t-shirt, hair wet, kissed me on the cheek. Morning, babe. Love you. I wanted to vomit. Instead, I smiled. Love you too. Hey, I've got to run to work early. Big meeting. Okay. Oh, can you leave me some cash? I need to get gas. I left her $40. Documented it with a photo of her taking it from my hand. Then I drove straight to the police station. Update 1. Holy hell, this blew up. Sorry for the delay. The last 2 months have been a slow-motion nightmare of lawyers, detectives, and trying to keep my sanity. Here's what happened after I walked into that police station. First, turns out I wasn't her only victim. When I showed the detective the photos of the journal, his eyebrows went up. Wait here, he said. Came back with 2 other detectives. Apparently Jessica, not even her real name, it's Susan Parsons, had outstanding warrants in 2 other states. Same scam, different guys. She'd drain them dry, disappear, reinvent herself. I was victim number 4 that they knew about. With victims across state lines and evidence of her moving stolen funds electronically, the lead detective said, "This is bigger than us. We're calling the feds. This is textbook wire fraud, and that's their playground." They took my statement, all my financial records, the photos, said they'd need the original journal as evidence. Problem was, how to get it without tipping her off. "We can arrest her now," a detective explained, "but if we get the journal and her devices in a clean search, the case is ironclad. We need you to go home and act normal." So I had to go home and pretend everything was fine. For 3 days. You ever try to act loving towards someone you know is a sociopath actively robbing you? It's like swallowing glass. Every babe made me want to scream. Every touch felt like an assault. But I did it. I needed her to not suspect a thing. During those 3 days, I documented everything. Every request for money. Every lie. I installed a camera in the living room, legal in my own home. Caught her going through my desk, my mail, even trying to crack my new laptop password. Wednesday night, she made her move. The investment opportunity was closing soon. Sarah needed an answer, just $10,000 to start. I recorded the whole conversation on my phone. "I thought you dropped this," I said. "I did, but Sarah's desperate. And think about our future. Don't you want to provide for us?" There it was. The manipulation. The guilt. The us that never existed. "Let me sleep on it," I said. She smiled, kissed me. "I knew you'd come around, Ty. You're such a good provider." Thursday morning, while she was at her fake bartending job, federal agents and local police executed the search warrant. They got the journal, her laptop, burner phones, everything. Found evidence of 6 other victims they didn't know about. Total theft across all victims was initially estimated at over $300,000. They arrested her at the gym that afternoon. Yeah, she was at the gym, not work. Using my membership, of course. I wasn't there, but apparently she played the victim card hard. Cried about not understanding, must be a mistake, demanding to call her boyfriend, me, to clear things up. They showed her the journal. She shut up real quick. Asked for a lawyer. Here's where it gets interesting. Sarah, the boutique friend, doesn't exist. The business plan was a professional fake she'd paid for online. The $5,000 she claimed to have invested, that was real. She'd stolen it from victim number 2 and was using fake investments to launder money. A pyramid scheme with stolen money. Almost genius if it wasn't so evil. Her lawyer tried to get her out on bail. The federal prosecutor argued she was a major flight risk with a history of creating new identities. The judge agreed. No bail. Then came the phone calls from jail. I recorded every single one and forwarded them to the U.S. Attorney's Office. Oh yeah, I got a lawyer. Because getting your money back from a con artist is like squeezing water from a rock. She'd spent most of it. Designer clothes, trips, cosmetic procedures, and a nasty online gambling habit. My civil suit was filed, but it would have to wait for the criminal case to play out. And that, I was learning, would take time. Update 2. The wheels of justice turn slowly, and apparently they're coated in mud. The last 8 months have been a parade of legal motions, delays, and harassment. Susan's mom found my number. It started with sympathy. "I'm so sorry for what my daughter did to you." It quickly turned to negotiation. "She's sick, she needs help, not prison. Can't you talk to the prosecutor? We'll pay you back." They offered $10,000 to drop my civil suit and refused to cooperate with the feds. "That's not even a quarter of what she stole from me," I said, "and I'm not obstructing a federal investigation." Then the harassment started. Calls, texts, emails. Her mom, her sister, cousins. The narrative shifted. I was the bad guy. "You must have known she had problems. This is partly your fault." Her sister. "A real man would handle this privately." Her cousin. "She told me you were abusive. Maybe she was just trying to escape." Her mom again. "I documented everything. My lawyer used it to get a restraining order against the whole family." Meanwhile, the criminal case was crawling forward. Susan, through her public defender, was going for a mental health defense. Compulsive behavior, childhood trauma, you name it. The prosecution wasn't buying it. The journal was a prosecutor's dream, showing clear, calculated intent. They offered her a plea deal, 7 years plus full restitution. She turned it down, wanted to take her chances with a jury. Bad move. The delay gave investigators more time to dig. They found more victims, including 3 from her college days. One of those ex-boyfriends had committed suicide, and his family directly blamed the financial and emotional ruin she'd caused. That changed everything. The prosecution withdrew the plea deal. The feds added new charges. The potential sentence jumped to 15 to 20 years. Now her family was truly desperate. The harassment escalated. They showed up at my work. Her sister threw a brick through my car window. More arrests, more restraining orders. Susan tried a new tactic from jail. Love letters, pages of pure manipulation. She'd found God, she wanted to make amends. She'd spend her life making it up to me if I'd just help her. Sprinkled within the apologies were subtle threats, mentioning she knew where my parents lived, that she had friends who worried about me. I gave every letter to the prosecution. Witness intimidation was added to her list of charges. The trial was finally scheduled. I was dreading it, having to see her, to testify, to relive it all. Then, 2 weeks before the trial was set to begin, she blinked. Update 3. It's been a long road. Sorry for the silence. After everything that happened, I had to disconnect and just live. But I figured you all deserved a final chapter. 2 weeks before the trial, facing a mountain of evidence and the prospect of a decade or more in prison, Susan took a new plea deal. It was brutal. 5 years in federal prison, followed by 3 years of intensely supervised release. And she had to allocute, admit to everything, in detail, in open court. I sat in that courtroom and watched her confess. No tears, no "I was sick" defense, just a flat, monotone admission. I knowingly and willfully defrauded Joseph Chen and 11 other victims. 11. They found 4 more during the trial prep. Total stolen, $426,000. The judge was not sympathetic. He called her a financial predator who weaponized intimacy, and spoke of the callous disregard for the devastation she caused, referencing the victim who took his own life. Susan finally cried then. Not the fake tears I knew so well, but real, ugly sobs of someone whose life was completely and irrevocably ruined by their own actions. Her family was there, still glaring at me. Her mom shouted, "This is your fault," as they led Susan away in handcuffs. Susan served nearly 4 years of her sentence. With the time she was held pre-trial and some credit for completing programs in prison, she was released to a halfway house 6 months ago, now for the restitution. Con artists don't have 401ks. The government seized just $2,341 from her accounts. The court ordered wage garnishment for the rest. 25% of any income she makes, for potentially the rest of her life, until the $426,000 is repaid. My share is $51,400. So how does a convicted felon with no real work history pay that back? She works 3 jobs. I know this because the restitution order is public record. McDonald's morning shift, Walmart cashier in the evenings, and cleaning offices overnight. She lives with her mom, wears an ankle monitor, and can't leave the state. I get a check for between $70 and $90 every month. At this rate, I'll be paid back in full in about 50 years. I'll likely never see most of it. But it was never just about the money. It's the text I got from another victim, the one whose sister found his suicide note in time. He's a different person now. Said the trial gave him the closure he needed to finally heal. It's knowing Susan can't do this to anyone else. Her name, mugshot, and conviction are the top results on Google. It's knowing that every morning at 4 a.m., when her alarm goes off for her shift, she has to confront the fact that she threw away a real life with someone who, God help me, actually loved the person he thought she was. Yeah, I loved her. That's the part that still messes with me. My therapist says you can grieve for a fiction. The last 3 years have been about rebuilding. My savings, my trust in people, my judgment. I'm dating again. Cautiously. I might not check their credit report on the third date, but I sure as hell pay attention to the details now. That monthly check is a strange reminder. It's not a victory lap. It's a receipt for a lesson that cost me $51,400. A reminder of the bullet I dodged and the importance of leaving your diary closed if it contains a multi-state federal conspiracy. And Richard, whoever you are, you dodged a bullet, man.